Okay, boys and girls, so what we're going to be working on, Miss Vidali wants to share with you a really, really exciting thing that I hope you guys are excited about, but if the noise keeps up, we're not going to be able to do it, so let's make sure we work together as a group. We've been talking about, yesterday we started talking about limited resources, right? What does it mean to have a limited resource? Davey? Right, resources that you can't use forever. Exactly. So it's things that we need to make sure that we're very careful about how often we use them because they're going to run out at some point. Just like money. Remember we were talking about how we had to make choices about money because we can't use it forever. We have to make... We chose yesterday, if I had to choose between 3 different art supplies, I would just take one of them because I can't spend money on all 3 and have it all, even though we want it all, don't we? We do. We want it all. So today, what we're going to be doing, we've talked about recycling in our classroom once before, where we're going to be taking items that used to mean something completely different than they mean now. There are plastic bags, there's clothespins, there are construction paper, and tape, and rubber bands, and we're going to be taking all of these items and making a pig's house out of them. We are going to work together in our table groups. If we can do it quietly and work together as a team, we are going to be our very own pig home construction builders. But the thing is, boys and girls, just like we've been talking about our limited resources, you can't choose everything over on the table of goodies to build your house with. There's about 15 or 20 items over on that table to choose from for each group, but you're only able to choose 10. So what we're going to do is your group is going to work together, and you guys are going to decide which materials do we think are the most important to build our house with so it stays nice and strong. So think about the 3 little pigs which we've been working with recently. The 3 little pigs, when they went out to build their homes, they built them out of, what was the first thing the original 3 little pigs? Medina?
Bricks.
Not in the recent story, the first regular story that we read. Fatima? Sticks, straw, and bricks. Right. Those were the things they built their homes out of. Which one was the strongest?
Bricks.
Maya?
Bricks.
Which one was the weakest? The wind blew it down. Lauren?
Straw.
The straw. Right. So they chose items to build their homes with that they thought were going to stand up to the big bad wolf. But they didn't all work, did they? So we're going to take some time during our lesson today to pick out items that we think are the most important to stand up, because Miss Vidali is going to be the big bad wolf. And tomorrow, I'm going to try to blow those houses down. So you're going to see how well you guys can do to stand up to the wind. So here's something I want to show you guys. These are homes, just like we've been studying with culture. These are homes around the world that people have built themselves. So here's a house that you can actually pick up and take with you when you go places. It's like a big tent, a really big one. So it has a red door in the front that you can open and close. Why do you think it's good to keep the door closed sometimes?
So it won't get cold.
So it won't get cold inside, exactly. So the wind won't come in. So they have a door. What does it look like? Is anyone in the front? Can you see what that looks like? What did they build that out of? Yeah, maybe metal or sticks or wood, things that they put together, and they covered it with a big white tarp, which helps them keep out all the cold.
What's a tarp?
This big white thing. Very good question, Celine. There's a big white, it's almost like plastic. You can feel it almost feels like plastic, and you drape it over the sticks, and it's like a tent. It keeps you safe inside. This is a treehouse home. What material do you think they built this out of? Indigo? Wood, definitely. So do you think the wind can flow through here easily?
Yes.
Maybe, right? Because I see some gaps in the planks up there, so maybe the wind can breeze through in the trees. Could be. Let's see what other houses we have. These are homes in Africa that we saw in our studies, didn't we? So these are, what kind of roofs? What kind of roofs are on these houses? Celine? Right, reeds, exactly. Straw, right. And definitely the wind can flow through these, right? Because in Africa, why would we need the wind to flow through these houses in Africa? Maya? It's very hot, exactly. Very hot, so we need that wind to blow through. What about our homes? Do we have wind blow through them?
No.
Usually not, but in the summer, we can open the windows and let some air in and cool ourselves down. Here's the last home I wanted to show you guys.
The beach house.
It's a beach house, right? And what is it built on? It's built on stilts. Why do you guys think it's built on stilts? Colin?
Because it's not like going into the water because it's sticking out on the water.
Exactly. That way when the water comes, if the waves get really high, like in Hurricane Sandy, or something that happens like that in hurricanes, the water would spill right into the house if it was on the ground. So if you raise it up on your stilts, the water will go right underneath it and it won't hurt the house on top.
It's a hard one. What if it
So these are important differences that they've built their houses around, boys and girls. So you're going to think about the materials other people use and take our regular materials and say, how can I build the strongest house out of these? So here's what it's going to be. When we get back from lunch, I'm going to give each of you guys a packet. I'm going to give each of you guys a packet when we get back from lunch, and there are jobs. Just like when someone builds a house. So when a construction is happening on a new house, there's a plumber who makes sure his job is to do the water. There's an electrician. Their job is to make sure that the house has lights and there's electricity in it. There's a person that hammers in the nails in the wood to make sure the house is nice and strong. They're the construction workers and they build. There are people that go around and they decorate the house on the inside with like the kitchen furniture, the stove, the refrigerator. They paint the walls, the painters. So each person in a house has the ability to do their job very, very well. But does the house come together if your job isn't done well? No. If the electrician doesn't do his job, then the house has no lights, even though it's strong. So each one of you is going to get a job in your little home to build that's very important, and the home doesn't work unless you all work together. So I'm going to show you about it. This is what it is. So we're going to have a neighborhood manager. A neighborhood manager is the person that creates the name of your home, whatever you want to call it, and you're going to present your house to the big bad wolf when he's ready to blow it down. We have a speaker, who is the person that's going to read out all the materials that you guys chose to build your house with, because we want to know if it stands up, we want to know what made it so strong. And if it falls down, we want to know what could we have improved upon, what materials could we have chosen afterward. Doesn't matter if it falls down or stands up tomorrow, we're going to do our best. Everyone's going to do a good job, I'm sure. So the speaker's going to introduce their house to everyone tomorrow. Then we have an architect. What do you guys think an architect does? Sage?
The architect is like in charge of the house.
Right, they're in charge of drawing out the house, the plan of it. So we're going to plan, right, the blueprints, exactly. The architect's going to be making our own blueprint. So once we select all the materials for our group, our architect is going to draw a picture of what they think the house is going to look like with all the materials that we have. So we have a plan. We always want to have a plan when we get started doing something, don't we? Always. Then we have 2 material gatherers. Those are going to be the people whose job it is to go over to our table when we get back from lunch, and they're going to actually pick the 10 materials you guys are going to use for your homes. Your whole group is going to talk it over, but the 2 materials persons have the final decision on what they're going to be using to build their house. And at the very end, our last person in the group is the recorder. And the recorder is the person who's going to write down each material that you guys decide and how many of that material you chose from over on the side. They're also going to be writing down the list that the speaker is going to be reading to us about your home when we're ready to present it for tomorrow. Okay, so I just wanted to give you guys an introduction. When we get back, we're going to start selecting our materials and we're going to start building our homes. But we have to work together as a group, and everyone's job is important, okay? So I don't want to hear, I didn't like that job, I really wanted the other job, because every single one of you has an important role in your group. The group doesn't succeed unless you all work together.
Without you.
Right? No more than 2 people will be building at a time, but everyone's going to get a chance to build. Okay? You'll be working in your table groups. So I just wanted to introduce this to you, boys and girls. So can I have tables 1 and 2 grab their lunches and get in line?
Donut. Mr. Dowd, table 4, we're missing Mr.